Hey guys, what's up? Jared with thegamerplex.com here. Today we've got a very special guest, Rahat, also known as Magic of Rahat. A very cool guy, a prankster magician, if you will. Rahat, I'm just going to go ahead and let you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, since this is definitely a new thing for the site.
Okay, basically what I do is something called magic pranks, and I basically go around like your everyday fast food drive-thrus, and I usually pull some kind of a magic trick off, kind of unexpectedly, and usually I get their reactions either by usually by camera and everything. I also usually do them at Walmarts as well. I just go around, prank people just using various magic and illusion effects. But I've been doing this for about I've been in magic about 7 years now, and I've been doing this sort of prank magic for about a good 3 years now.
Okay, and I guess we'll just go through maybe some of your more recent videos, if we could maybe talk a few of that. I guess we'll just talk about the most recent one first, if that's okay. Can you kind of tell us a little bit information behind Drive-Thru Smoky Coffee?
Smoky Coffee, yeah. That one was really, really messy to do, because basically, if you look at my car right now, the whole entire interior is pretty much trash. You got coffee stains everywhere. The whole entire floor is filled with like McDonald's cups, bags, napkins. And on top of that, I did it on a pretty cold day, the first video. So, I was going home kind of shivering. So, I don't know if I'm going to ever do that prank again, but it's probably one of the messiest pranks I've done.
Alright, I guess we will talk one. It has a little more relation to gaming. The arrow to the knee prank, which is a lot of relation, obviously, to Skyrim. So do you kind of want to give us an overview of how that went down and what exactly you did?
Well, basically, I put up a video before that was called Static Shock Prank 2, and I used the line where actually I touched a Thor toy, and it shocked me, and I said, and the lady was staying right next to me, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I used to be the god of thunder until I took an arrow in the knee." And so a lot of people, love that joke. And so I put out another video titled "Nailed Through Arm," and in that at the end of that video, I was asking my audience to write down any ideas that you want me to do. And a lot of people were saying, do arrow to the knee, do arrow to the knee. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that. So, it took about 3 days to actually come up with the idea, the method of how I'm going to, put an actual arrow through the knee. And so, once I figured that out, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do this. So, I didn't really, I didn't know how that was going to turn out, but, the delivery guy loved it, and he actually got a $10 tip for that, so.
Well, I guess we'll kind of focus a little bit more on your YouTube aspect. Obviously, you have almost 33,000 subscribers, and that's not an easy thing to get. What would you say is what was your best performing video, if you will? What attracted the most people to you?
The video that most attracted, is that what you're asking? What video attracted most of the audience?
Yeah, I'd say what video brought you the most new views and subs?
I would say that would be Drive-Thru Floating Money, which I put out during last summer, and it's basically where I go through drive-thrus where I float $1 in the middle of my car, and I usually and I film their reactions and everything. That got really good responses. It got a feature on NSN.com. I think it was on CBS News.com. And at one point, a couple weeks ago, just a little clip of it. So, that video really got me, a lot of recognition, and got me so many subscribers and views, and the video's up to like 1,000,000 and 200,000. I think I'm not sure where, but
yeah, I definitely that one I've seen before, and I would definitely see how that could get some interesting reactions. And I mean, looking at your featured list, seeing things like Tosh.0, the MSN page, it's a lot of big news, and it has a little gaming info and some of those that really I could see how that benefit. When did you first get the idea? I know you said you've been in Magic for quite a while. When did you first get the idea that you were going to record yourself doing this?
Well, I got this idea about 4 years ago. I used to work restaurant magic in Fuddruckers around here, and every night when I'm done working, I usually dinner over at the nearest Burger King, and I also used a Fire Wallet in my restaurant gigs and everything. And I thought one night, oh my God, that would be really cool. What if I just pull out my Fire Wallet in front of like the drive-thru employee and see how that would turn out? That night, that was actually the first time I ever, did some kind of a magic prank. And, did the Fire Wallet in front of her, and she kind of freaked out. She was like, holy crap, what just happened? So, at that point I was like, man, people would really love this if I, filmed their reactions. So, I started gathering up, all these clips and everything, and then, my first ever video that's magic prank related was drive through Fire Wallet, which also got a good number of responses. So I guess that would probably be the first time I've ever done a magic prank.
Okay. Now, like, one thing I did want to touch on, which is I think is really cool, is your chat roulette magic. Now that's a ballsy thing. There's a lot of interesting people on chat roulette. So tell us about chat roulette magic.
Oh, chat roulette magic. Oh man. Oh, that scarred me for life. So I got the idea from Merton's piano improv, which is on YouTube, and I've seen a lot of his videos, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. He's playing improv piano and describing the person's looks, environment. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just take magic and put it on chat roulette and start doing magic to people, random people on chat roulette. And so I started doing that and everything. You get some really interesting people. You get some really people that would really react like, oh my God, that was crazy. Yeah. And then you get that other side of chat roulette where you see some really disturbing stuff. And I've seen some really, I'm not going to describe anything, but I've seen some really bad stuff where it kind of scarred me for life. And at some nights I had to actually kind of stop doing it because I was like, okay, that was kind of bad, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop. So but yeah.
So obviously one of your videos, smoke prank, and then in it also says cop show up. Have you had any other experiences with your magic ending up with a little talk with the cops or interaction with the cops? I know in that particular video you obviously got away before anything happened, but have you had any other experience?
There is one experience that I'm going to put in a future video, and it was basically I was actually filming Static Shock Prank 3, and one of my audience members was giving me an idea, do the actual Static Shock, touch something, and then fall back and just play dead. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So one night I went to one of the Walmarts kind of nearby me. And I actually did that, and basically, somebody was right next to me. He saw it. He actually got one of the employees over. The employee got one of the managers over. It started kind of getting out of hand. The employee actually started, calling the cops, and I actually had to stop him. And I was like, hey, don't call the cops because I don't have any medical insurance, so not a good idea. So their rent-a-cop came over, and at that point I'm like, oh man, hope I don't get caught because this is kind of bad. This is really risky.
Now, were you continuing to play dead when the employees and stuff came over, or did you decide that you needed to sit up and say, hey, this isn't actually?
Well, I was on the ground, and one of the employees was right next to me, trying to talk to me. He's like, hey, are you okay? What's going on? Uh-huh. And I was kind of vaguely, just saying, oh, where am I? Oh, what's going on? It's something shocking. And at that point, I noticed that he started talking to somebody, And I was like, oh crap, he's talking to the cops. And so I was like, okay, oh yeah, I'm better now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess we'll kind of go over. Is there any other plans that you'd ever have? Any new ideas or any failed things? Like, let's say you wanted to do a new thing and you had it all planned out and you thought of something and it just didn't end up like you thought it would.
Yeah, a couple of times. I'll give you one that I really wanted to do, but it just didn't happen. Basically, I was gonna do a trick where I cry blood in front of people, and I was gonna do this at Walmart and especially through drive-throughs. And what the idea was with the drive-through pranks was I was gonna have them, tell me the total, and they're gonna first look at me and they're gonna see I have a normal face or normal eyes and everything. And once they tell me the total, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's $2.99. Okay, so I turn around, get the money from my passenger side, look at the camera, start crying blood, and then turn right back to them, and then yeah, exactly. The trick is possible. Unfortunately, it's a really hard trick for me to do. I can't really cry, on cue. Yeah. So, something like that it's very hard to do.
I guess another one. Have you ever done any co-videos or co-projects with any other YouTube people? Two of you do a simultaneous. I don't know. Maybe I've seen somewhere it's two pranksters are doing two big YouTube channels get together and do a simultaneous prank together. Have you ever done kind of a double magic with anyone? It's kind of a weird way to put it, but
I've got a lot of requests from I have a lot of friends that are magicians and everything, and my idea is I absolutely want to do something like that, and the thing is I really don't have a lot of time and everything because I go to school here and everything, so probably during the summer. That might be a possible idea, and I really want to do something like that because a lot of people have been asking me, hey, are you going to collab with another channel, kind of team up and do these pranks and everything? And I was like, you know what, that's a really good idea. I'm going to actually do that.
Mm-hmm. I guess another one I wanted to touch on, the paranormal activity prank. That's a really unique one, and that one I was kind of questioning at the beginning because obviously he was your roommate and I don't know, still is, but I was surprised because was he aware? I mean, he's obviously aware that you are already a magician and already
right.
trained in that, right?
Right.
And he's still kind of. I mean, I could definitely see how that'd be freaky, but it's that one I would think has got to be one of the harder ones to pull off with having another person aware.
Yeah, that was probably one of the toughest pranks I've ever pulled off. The thing was, I've got a lot of questions about that same thing. Your roommate knows that you're a magician, right? So wouldn't he expect that? And that's the thing because I kind of planned this. I planned this prank out 3 months before I actually did it, and I did a lot of planning. And the thing was, a lot of psychology also went into this prank because I kind of had to learn how my roommate, goes through his everyday routine and everything. Also, let me go back a second here. The reason why he kind of believed everything was going on is my friend is actually in a paranormal group.
Okay, all right.
And he's a ghost hunter, paranormal investigator, if you will. And so he usually, and I'm also in that group as well. So it's kind of easy to convince him a little bit. It's actually really hard because he's a really stone cold skeptic. But once he sees something in front of him, boom, that's when he's like, oh my god, did I just really see that? And then at that point, okay, I started making all the tricks more, intense and everything. Yeah. So like that first night, the lights turning off, it was just simply me just going, in the living room, just flipping the switch off, mm-hmm. And then his mind kind of do the rest and everything, put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Right. And then, the next nights and everything, try to turn it up a notch and, make things like move in front of him, lamps break in front of them. So
that one, I would say, yeah, that one amazed me the most. That light bulb breaking I was like, wow, that one. And especially, when some of those things would just randomly drop, or was it a pen that fell off a table, or
right.
I mean, those are some that really would, I could definitely see how that would get to you. I guess one more, sort of related to the reactions. We'll kind of touch on that. Have you ever had any, other than the one, like you said, that didn't turn out, where you were doing static shock and you had, the police end up showing up? Have you ever had any, just absolutely ridiculous, over-the-top reactions to what you did?
Do you mean in a good way or a bad way?
Well, I guess we'll go both, but bad first.
Yeah, I have had one incident, and this was in California, and it was basically a video titled "Smoke Prank." And towards the end of the video, I actually went up to this lady right next to this older woman, and I picked up a bottle of syrup off the shelf, and I proceeded to make it smoke. And she looked at it and she was like, "Oh, is that it smoking?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's smoking." So I didn't really think too much of it, and so she was like, "Oh my God, put it down. Something's going on. All these idiots trying to blow up this place." And I'm like,
"Oh my gosh,
what? Okay."
Oh my gosh.
And so she started getting, one of the employees over, the manager over. You didn't see this, on camera, but behind the camera, there's a huge crowd starting to form. And at that point, I'm like, "Oh my God, I am so screwed." Because people are going to think I'm a terrorist now because I'm trying to blow up syrup bottles in Walmart. So at this point, I'm here like, "Oh my God, I'm going to jail tonight. I'm so screwed right now." And so, managers came over, she was like, "Yeah, that bottle did it, that bottle did it." That young man picked it up, it started smoking, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is not good." So, I kind of, they were talking and everything, she was like, "Yeah, I'm going to call 911, blah, blah, blah." And so, I kind of ditched the cart, took the camera. I was like, "Okay, I think it's time for me to go." But I didn't want to walk out, without anything in my hand, because that would look really sketchy.
Yeah.
And so, I picked up a pair of sunglasses off the counter, and I was like, I'm just going to buy this so it looks like I bought something. So, I went through the self-checkout and, rung myself up and everything, and I actually went through that door, and the alarm started going off, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna go to Guantanamo Bay or something. I don't know, I'm screwed here." So, thing was, they didn't take the tag off the sunglasses, so I'm here like, "Oh my God, I thought I was gonna die right there." So, I jumped in my car, kind of took a breather and everything, and getting out of Walmart, I actually noticed two cops pull up right next to the Walmart. And so, I was like, "You know what, I'm just going to film this part and I'm just going to book it." So, film the cops and everything, and basically booked it. And, the whole entire ride back to, to the office and everything, I thought, I had the FBI behind me. I was looking at the mirror every 5 seconds. I was paranoid.
Yeah, I mean, from seeing that one, and I'll make sure to link it in our video, but that one was her reaction was seeing, and she was like, "I'm taking care of this. This is going to be handled. I'm calling that." And seeing all the staff coming over, and it was kind of an interesting aspect to see how sometimes random people just handle those situations versus just, "Oh my gosh, this is on smoking. I need to leave immediately." What about good reactions, or no reaction? Have you ever had someone have no reaction?
Oh yes. I do a trick where I pull out money out of my wallet and it pretty much engulfs in fire, and by just waving around it blows off. Well, the fire blows out, and it's a normal dollar.
Right.
Basically, I was going through this drive-through one night with one of my friends in the passenger seat, and he was recording and everything, and pulled up to the drive-through window, and took out the dollar. It was flaming and everything, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Me freaking out.
Yeah.
Put the dollar out and looked at him, he's just looking at me, and he wasn't even freaking out. And so I was like, well, I didn't put it in the video, and I said, come on, man, you didn't freak out? And he just kind of nodded no. And I was like, wow, this guy is really stone cold.
Wow. Have you had any like, people who are instantly like, oh, this must be a joke, or this is this can't be exactly happening?
Yeah, I had a couple of those before. I usually do a prank called Drive-Through Floating Cup.
Okay.
And a lot of people, it's going to probably be my next video. I pulled up with actually when they hand me their drink, I proceed to make it float. And when they turn back around, or ask for like ketchup or something, they're like, wait, is that floating? No, that has to be a string or something. No, I don't believe that. So I actually had one lady to try to throw ketchup at it, try to hit the cup and see if it was on the string. So yeah, you're gonna have people like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see how that can always be a possibility, especially with the things you have to do, and some of these advanced ones could easily be confusing and kind of startling. One that seems to kind of almost be underviewed is instant radio. Can we kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
I guess just kind of, I'll obviously, like I said, I'll link to all these again, but is that the only attempt at the one you've ever done, or do you kind of plan to try to do that again? I know that had some interesting instant reactions.
I might do that one again, because that is actually a really fun, very, very fun prank to do. It's just, I've got some clips, still on my computer and everything. I still just gotta get more and everything, but, it might be a possibility that there might be a video in the future, of that prank, but, I can't really, I don't know, if it's gonna, you know what, it might be out, in the summer. That's the thing.
And I know you said, that there's definitely a few tough ones, and there's a few that you said that sometimes are even almost impossible, like the tears one. Is there anyone that you find is really easy that you frequently do?
Yeah, the easiest ones that I usually do are the static shock ones. That's a fairly easy one, and it really doesn't cost anything. Whereas like my drive-through pranks, I usually have to buy some some food or something, and accumulates over time. With the static shock pranks, it's pretty much costless, and that's really easy to do. Go around, touch something, boom, shock something. So I think that's probably the easiest one. With Walmart and everything, and then with drive-thrus, I would probably say that drive-through floating money is probably the easiest in that venue.
All right. And I guess kind of an aspect, if people now listening to this may sort of be interested. I see this link to Penguin Magic. Are you in relation with them, or is that because I know I see a lot of the presented by Penguin Magic at the beginning of the video? Is that I see that obviously the smoke illusion is available there. Is there any other things you do that are available there, like some of the utilities you would need?
Yeah, basically, the Penguin Magic link is because I work for a company called Penguin Magic, and it's one of the world's largest magic websites out there. Okay. And usually, a lot of the pranks and the tricks I do, you can usually find them on that website. For instance, the floating money trick, the pure, the smoke illusion. You could also kind of do the floating cup. Also, you could do the nail through arm prank. You could kind of find some of the tricks where I do off of paranormal activity prank. There's some tricks that you could find on that website. So, yep.
We'll kind of take ourselves back a little bit. When you were younger, were you into magic when you were younger, or was it something that you sort of found when you got a little bit older?
Yeah, I was very interested in magic when I was a little kid, because I would usually watch the world's greatest magic on TV and everything.
Okay.
And I would try to pick up a deck and do a trick here and there. I would go on Google, try to search up how that trick was done. But usually I wouldn't find anything amazing on there. When I was a child and everything, I would kind of go leave Magic, get back into Magic, leave Magic. It was the usual pattern throughout middle school and everything. But in high school, in the middle of high school, I started watching David Blaine and everything, and that kind of really pumped me up and everything. Like, oh man, I really want to do this. I love what he's doing and everything. And so at that point, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stick with this, and here I am now.
Yeah, that definitely seems to have to paid off. So, would you say, like, for people that may be listening to this that would kind of want to get into what you do at more of a beginner's level, is there something you would suggest for them to kind of be able to quickly pick up a few tricks?
That's a good question. I never thought about that.
More of simpler things, but
I would say the simplest thing would be, this is kind of messed up, so perform this at your own risk. But it's a really simple kind of a gag. It's also a magic trick as well. There's something called slush powder, which is on Penguin Magic, where you show a cup of water, and you do your magical spell, and you could turn it upside down, and there's like the water won't even come out of the cup, and that illusion is accomplished by slush powder. And what you do is you get your cup of water and you get your slush powder, and you pour the powder into the water, and in a few seconds that water is gonna kind of freeze up into a slush, and so you could kind of show that the cup is, the water vanished out of the cup, turn it upside down. If you want to mess around with your friends, get their Coke bottle, open it up, pour some of that slush powder, close it back up, just wait there, and once they come back, like, whoa, what's going on with my, like, dude, I have no idea what's going on with that, but something simple.
And it takes care of itself, right?
Right.
And that one you'd say is a reasonable, a very easy one, and would be, and you said it is available on Penguin Magic?
Yeah, it's available on Penguin Magic.
And does it stay like that, or does it eventually kind of unfreeze, if you will?
It pretty much stays like that forever.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Just don't, if anybody's gonna do this, don't put this in your, roommate's toilet or your, friend's toilet, because that is not, that's not good.
Yeah. They're more of a drink thing.
Yeah.
A non-expensive drink thing.
Right.
Yeah, that one seems pretty interesting. I might have to try that one out. I've seen the Modern Warfare 2 poster in in some of your videos, the after. Do you have do you game at all? I mean, do you have any, or did you ever?
I used to love a game. I still kind of game here and there. At one point I was playing Modern Warfare 2, every single day. And it almost became an obsession and everything. Until, some of the, flaws in the game, some of the people in the game.
Yeah.
Funny. But I usually play, my favorite game is Zelda. I'm a huge Zelda fan, and I love Zelda.
Yeah.
And, another game I play a lot is Assassin's Creed. I'm a huge fan of Assassin's Creed as well. So those are usually two games I, play a lot.
Did you get the new Assassin's Creed?
Oh, I love it. Yep.